My prophet was not a pedophile. My prophet did not marry a 6-year-old, nor did he have sex with a 9-year-old. I can't believe that I have to say that. But I'm not talking to Islamophobes, and I'm not trying to justify to Christians or to all the other people that like to use Sunni material to try to attack Islam. I'm actually talking to you Sunnis. Our prophet is not a pedophile. I don't believe in the nonsense stuff that you guys write, but I'm going to use that nonsense stuff to prove to you that your prophet did not marry a 6-year-old, nor did he marry a 9-year-old. In the Quran, that is a forbidden arrangement. You cannot marry someone who has not reached the age of marriage. And I'm sorry, but puberty is not the age of marriage. That doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form. If anyone's showing any forms of maturity or any form of puberty, that does not necessitate that they reach the age of marriage. Okay? So I'm going to start this off by proving to you, by your own books, that Aisha was not 6 years old. And the blessed prophet did not marry a 6-year-old, nor did he consummate the marriage at 9. Now, that's the first part. The second part, I'm going to show you how it feels like to deal with you guys when it comes down to this topic, because you know it's wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present to you a few questions that we're going to fill out together. And using the power of math and deduction, I'm going to prove to you that you guys are saying nonsense. And it's by your own books. So we're going to have a contradiction. Like there's some stuff that's saying that she's 6 years old, and then other books are proving that she's not 6 years old. So you get to decide, right, which is the normal way of approach. So this is where the Quran should come and play and filter out the nonsense. Instead of jumping and holding on to the nonsense like this is the word of God at this point, that she's 6 years old. But anyways, let's start with the first question. The first question is, when was Asma born? Okay, so just looking at Wikipedia really quick, Asma bint Abi Bakr, right? She is the sister of Aisha. She is the older sister of Aisha. She was born in 595. This is important that we're going through the way of Aisha, Asma first, and then we're going to target just Bukhari's book, and I'll show you how you guys are wrong on multiple counts. So she was born in 595. Some people might say, well, that's Wikipedia written by other Sunnis, but it could be someone manipulating the data, and it isn't 595 AD. So this book is by Ibn al-Athir, and he is the one who documented a few narrations, right? And this individual is known throughout the scholarship, Ibn Athir, so he's not someone that is small in any way, shape, or form. So I'm going to translate this in English together, and we are going to find a spot where he's talking about Asma bint Abi Bakr, right? Here she was the son, he's talking, she was born 27 years before the date. Now, when they're talking about the date, right, that is the date of Hijrah, or the migration to Medina. That is when the Arabic calendar started, the Muslim calendar started, which you guys know that about. So let's go back here. There's a few answers here that we already got. So 595 AD is when Wikipedia said that she was born, right? The migration to Medina was in 622 AD, okay? So that is something that you could put very quickly, or you could look up very quickly, and you can prove that. That's a very known fact. But anyways, we're going to go 622 minus 27 years before the date, which will take you back about to 595, right? And now, we have now proven that she, not proven, we don't really know, but as per your own books, Asma was born in 595, 27 years before the Hijrah. Now, let's see how much, like Asma is by how many years older than Aisha. To that, we're going to turn to a book by Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir is somebody you should have heard of if you are a person that looks into your Sunni religion. Your Sunni religion has an exegesis by Ibn Kathir, who did tafsir for the Quran, right? I'm not here saying that I agree with this stuff and this is like proof against you and all this. This is stuff you write. This is stuff you believe in. This is stuff you propagate. So with the stuff that you propagate, let's see what Ibn Kathir said about the age of the marriage, the age difference between Aisha and Asma. So Asma is being talked about. Asma was converted to Islam in the past while they were in Mecca. At the beginning of Islam, she and her husband Zubayr immigrated while she was pregnant with her son Abdullah. Okay, so we're talking about her. Here it says she is 10 years older than her sister Aisha. Okay, we have a benchmark. So Aisha bint Abi Bakr and Asma bint Abi Bakr, they are sisters. One of them is older, Asma. By how much? We said she's 10 years old. We've shown you the proof. Okay, so don't argue with me, argue with your scholars at this point. So 595 AD, Asma is 10. The first revelation, right, was in 610 AD, as what they say. 610 AD. Okay, so how old would Asma be when the first revelation started? Okay, so if it's at 610, we have to take 610, yes, this is basic math, 610, and then we subtract that from 595, that makes her 15 years old, right? So we'll put our proof, because that's what we do when we do mathematics, right? So it'll be 610 minus 595 makes her 15 years old by the Georgian calendar, okay? Aisha would be, oh, okay, well, let's do the math. Yes, this is so silly. 15 subtract 10 equals, or sorry, it's not 10 minus 10, it's 15 minus 10. That's the difference. She's 5 years old when the first revelation started, okay? So the migration to Medina was in 622. That is it is 13 Hijri calendar years, okay? But when you change it to the Georgian, you lose a little bit, so it's now 600, it's 12 years after that. We're losing a year, not even gaining a year, so that's fine. 622. So she was 5 years old when the first revelation happened. The migration to Medina was in 622. We already established how old Asma was during the migration. Before the date, she was 27. So we have two ways of proving it. She's 27 years old during the migration. Therefore, Aisha would be 27 minus 10 equals, what is that? Oh, 17 years old. Oh, Aisha was 17 years old during the migration. So now you guys can go look up that she was married 1 year after the migration. Aisha was, oh, well, let's see, 17, right? 17 plus 1 equals 18. Oh, wow. Aisha was 18 years old when she married the blessed prophet. Now, if you want to take the hadith and then they waited 3 years for him to consummate the marriage, that would make her 21. But let's not even go with that. Let's just keep it at 18, because there is no moral problem at that point that she is 18. 1400 years ago. There's a moral problem when she's 6, when she's 9, but when she's 18, as your own books say, right? So 27 years is the age of Asma when she migrated. Asma migrated when she's 27 years old. There's 10 years difference. Therefore, her sister was 17 when they migrated. 1 year after they got married, or 2 years after, God knows. I'm not here to make claims. I'm showing you your own books. Okay, let's not go through Asma. That is a problem going through Asma. You know why? Because, remember this, Aisha was 5 years old when the first revelation started, right? Let's not go with that, but let's go down with the book of Bukhari. The book of Bukhari says, the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated the marriage when she was 9 years old. Remember this guy's name, this loser. I don't care, I'll call him a loser all day. Why? Because their own books say that Hisham bin Awra, he used to make up hadith after he migrated from Medina. So this man, he lived in Medina for a very long time. Hisham bin Awra, whatever his name is. He lived in Medina for a very long time. And then he migrated to Iraq. And then he became a prolific hadith scholar, like narrator of hadith. But because he lived in Medina for a very long time, therefore there's going to be a lot of people that should be saying the same thing as him. All 3 hadith that say that Aisha was 6 years old were narrated by Hisham. This guy is in all of those chains. So this is not a chain that has been found multiple people. It's just this dude who is like in the top 10 of the Bukhari specials. So like he's up there with Zuhri, and then Abu Huraira and Anas bin Malik. They're like the prolific liars. He's there with them because he narrated a lot. He's in like the top 10. So this is the person who kept saying that she was 6 years old. But we already proved by just the age of Asma that he isn't. Okay, there's a different hadith in their same book, Sahih al-Bukhari, 493. This is Aisha speaking. She's saying, while I was a young girl of playing age, the following verse was revealed in Mecca to Muhammad. Nay, By the hour is their but the hour is their appointed time for their full recompense. And the hour will be more grievous and more bitter. Chapter 54:46. Okay, so let's start doing some mathematics, because this is 54:46. But now I want to ask you a question. Okay, up here we established that Aisha was 5 years old when the first revelation happened. Let's not consider that. Let's just put that to the side. Okay, I'm going to ask you a simple question. She's playing games, right? She was at a playing age, young girl of playing age. So she's a young girl playing age. She's recognizing the Quran. She knew that it was Quran. She said that this is the ayah that was in chapter 54, right? And she's memorized it. At what age can a child do that? Let's go with the bare minimum, which is not possible, but let's go with 4 years old. Let's make it crazy. 4 years old, guys, okay? So the minimum age is 4 years old. Okay, so she was 4 years old when Surah 54 came down, which is 3 years after the first revelation. You can go check their sources. I'm not going to have to shit. This is stuff that is very known in between their books. You can go, when did Surat Al-Qamar? So I'll write it here for everyone who wants to look it up. Al-Qamar, when was it revealed? It was revealed 3 years after the first revelation. Okay? So let's consider that she's 4 years old. When the 3 years after the first revelation, when we already established she's 5. But 5 plus 3 would make her 8 here, which still fits whatever is being talked about. But let's go back to 4, because 4 is half of that. Okay, 54 came 3 years after the first revelation. Migration happened 9 years after that, at 982. Why? Because 610 was the first revelation, right? 3 years after that would make it 613. And then 622 is the migration. So migration happened 94 years after Surah 54. Okay, so 9 years. Sorry, 54. 9 years. Wow. Okay, so 9 years plus 13. And remember, we went to the bare minimum. This is the bare minimum. That would make her not 6 years old, not 9 years old. That would make her 9 plus 3 is 12 years old. Isn't that kind of weird? I guess so. But wait, I made a mistake. She was 4 years old. 4 years old plus 9 would make her 13 years old. Wow. Okay, she got married a year after that. A year after that would make her 13 plus 1. She's 14 years old. Still not 6. Still not 9. 14 years old, and then consummated the marriage after 3 years because they want to also say all sorts of nonsense, and therefore she would be 17 years old. She's still not 6. She's still not 9. But this is by your own books. And I took the 4-year-old as a bare minimum. Let's say she's 6. That made her 19. 19 here. That made her 16 here. Let's say, a normal age of someone who plays, understands Quran, recognizes it, and able to memorize it. 8. 8 would bring her back to where she was prior. This is the stuff that you guys are saying that's weird. If you want, we can even keep going here. Asma died in 692 BC. You could see it here, and you can go click and read how, and they're very known. She's 100 years, lunar years, died 73 years after the Hijrah. So we can go back to basic mathematics. Let's go. She was 100 years old minus 73. That would make her 27 when she migrated. That means Aisha was 17. She got married a year after. How much more do you want me to school you? So now you have a contradiction in your hadith. You have a contradiction in your narrations. This is sahih stuff. This isn't weak, da'if, or whatever. So why do you go to the really bad stuff? Why do you go to the worst of it rather than you going to the best of it? Now the reason why I brought this up